match reviews. So it was round 25 of the Super League, and a positive average attendance this weekend of 9,397 takes us into the first game of the round, which was played on Thursday night, Tim, at Leeds.
Yes, at the almost fully open and fully refurbished, and even the changing rooms are done now, Emerald Headingley. What even is Emerald? Do we know?
It's the sponsor.
Yeah, well, what do they do? Or is it just emeralds, the diamonds?
They are green precious stones. That's it. Just someone who likes green precious stones has sponsored them.
Fair enough. That's nice for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoy that that what is now the Extensia stand still gets called the Carnegie stand. I don't know if Carnegie is still even in business, but they still get plenty of sponsorship joy out of that, because people haven't realised that the yellow seats have been moved around to spell a different word.
Well, it's like the roof at Brentford was painted for Atari for years, and Atari had ceased trading long before anyone got around to doing it, because it cost, I think it was something like £5,000 to get someone to just go and whitewash it. So they got a free advert on the Heathrow flight path for years and years and years that no one had bothered to do anything about. Anyway, moving on to that game at Ruby Emerald Headingley. There we go. It's all going well. Finished Leeds 20, St Helens 36, having been at 10-all at half-time. Witnessed by 12,153 people. Considering it's the summer holidays, that's bloody good. And refereed by boy band's Mr. Chris Kendall. In terms of the statistics, we had over 200 more metres, 8 fewer errors, which will please to say it's heading into next week's final. 5 more penalties conceded and an 87% team tackle success, which will be slight concern for Justin Holbrook. For Leeds, they only made 1 fewer break than St Helens, but 18 errors contributed them to not taking their chances. For that winning...
Oh, I've got these the wrong way around. Swap
for that, around. Yeah, I was going to say, I nearly read out Leeds as winners, and we all know that didn't happen. No. For the winning St Helens side, Kevin Nagama made 3 tries, 9 tackle busts, ran for 102 metres, and made 3 perfectly clean breaks. Mark Percival, 1 try assist, 9 tackle busts as well, 155 metres on the boot, 2 clean breaks for him. Zeb Tyre, 1 try, 118 metres, and Carl Amor, 118 metres ran and 4 offloads. For the losing Leeds Rhinos, Ash Handley, 2 tries, 7 tackle busts, 133 metres and 3 clean breaks. Very much enjoying life out there on the wing. Adam Cuthbertson, 47 tackles, and another great shift by him. 11 marker tackles, 151 metres and 10 offloads. Luke Briscoe, 1 try assist and 125 metres. And we had a fan view on this one.
Yeah, Fatboy Rob said, relegation threat and Leeds still face the prospect of relegation. Meanwhile, fans of all the other clubs still face the threat of pissing their pants laughing. That's what we got on that one. For a Thursday night game, I don't understand. I do
where were you?
That I'd not opened the Google fan form up until about 20 minutes after the fan reviews form up until about 20 minutes after full time, because I forgot, but no one even prompted me to remember, so I don't understand. No one must have been interested. Tim, were you interested?
Well, maybe it just says that Leeds fan base isn't as big as they think it is, and they're not the best fans in the league as they often claim to be. Maybe that's what it points to. Who knows? If you want to prove us wrong, get more in next week.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed this game, actually. It felt quite frivolous almost as a game. You kind of always knew that Saints were going to win, even resting a number of players, and even going toe to toe up to half time. You kind of thought they would always do it because they had that quality, and they've done it so much this year. That's what they've done. They've kept with it when they need to keep in the arm wrestle. They've got enough there. They've got experience. You've got Kyle Amor, for example. They're keeping you involved in the game. You've got all that quality. You've got decent work from people like Seb Tyre, and they're keeping you in it. And then when it's time to kick on and when the opportunity's there, they race for it and they go for it and they do it. And that's what they're doing this year. And that's why they've been so successful, is that they don't do what some teams do and try and score every set and race everything. It's that mark of that champion team is that they just keep, when they need to keep in it, they just knuckle down, complete the sets, and do. They do. Obviously, there was a bit of scrappy play in there as well. It wasn't 100% perfect, but that second half, the Regan Grace try in particular, I quite enjoyed.
The Regan Grace try that was given to Zeb Taylor until about 2 days after the match.
Yeah, hashtag everyday racism.
10-all at half. I mean, you're right, frivolous is a really good word to sort of explain this game, because as well, there was a sense, I think, of relief amongst Leeds Rhinos that because they probably weren't expecting what happened over the rest of the weekend to happen the way it did, there's a feeling that with their points difference and their points tally now, they're probably safe, very close to being safe, and they're playing a bit better. And in the first half, they were a fair match for the top of the league, weren't they?
Yeah, and that's where questions are coming with this Leeds team, is they do have the quality, but they've only got the quality for half an hour. They haven't got it for a whole game. And that's why they're in the position they're in, because they can't do it consistently.
It was a 20 to 25 minute period, wasn't it, after half time, where they maybe were enjoying the frivolities too much because they made a couple of silly mistakes. One or two of them weren't necessarily forced, and Saints just flicked a switch, said see you later, and then they were able to coast out the end of the game, weren't they?
Yeah, and it was that spell either side of half time. I've talked about it before how it is that 10 minutes either side of half time is what decides a match. Or, you can look at any match, and that is always whatever happens in that is pretty much 9 times out of 10 is the decisive period, because that's where you show can you do it and can you do it when you're tired, and can you back it up when you're coming fresh and in that fatigued state.
Other than Regan Grace hypothetically getting downward pressure on a ball that he brushed across the floor-ish, what were your highlight moments from this one, Tim?
I think that I can't really pick out one in particular. I think Kevin Nagama's play all round was excellent to watch again, as it has been all season. I think Mike Percival did well, and that tracking back towards the end now Luke Briscoe was great as well. And
I just think Nagama's tries could have. I mean, most tries could have been defended better. Do you think that was a sign that Leeds aren't able? That was one of those signs that Leeds can't compete for full games against the top sides at this stage with the way that they're positioned, because he ran through about 4 blokes for each of those 2 tries. I know he got 3, but the 2 in particular that were either side of half time that were exactly the same as each other.
Yeah, I think so too. So I think, and so much of it is communication, and it's that those leadership positions where you've got people like Richie Myler and Robert Louis, who's been brought in halfway through the season. So much as it pains me, you can't give him any sort of excuse, but you can't exert pressure and control when you've joined a team halfway through as a halfback, because you don't know everybody, you don't know the plays, you haven't worked with them from pre-season. You can't do that. Richie Myler isn't the standard that Leeds need him to be, certainly in defence, but in attack as well. He isn't that player.
So they just can't get. You can't get consistency against top teams in those circumstances, is what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, and the defence, the communication in defence, you can see it isn't there. You can see people walking back. You can see, forwards that aren't prepared to come back and put a shift in. You can see, the middle unit in particular, they just don't talk to each other because there's holes left, right, and centre for people to just climb through.
Anything else on this one?
I don't think so, really.
No, it was a fun game, but St Helens, like you say, showed their class in that second half, and we move on to Friday night, where one game on Friday night and 12,555 fans were out to enjoy it. Ben Fayler was the referee. It was 18-0 to the home side Wigan Warriors at half-time. Comprehensive first half performance from the Warriors. Warrington narrowly edged the second half, but it still finished 20 points to 6 to the Wigan Warriors in the end. In terms of the team stats, metres was close, Wire edging it, but by fewer than 100. Wigan were much more clinical, 4 more breaks and 3 fewer handling errors, plus a 2.3% better team tackle success rate, although 8 penalties to 5 will concern Adrian Lamb. Individually, Zach Hardacre, 1 try assist, 6 tackle busts and 143 metres. Bevan French, 1 try, 6 tackle busts, 140 metres, 3 clean breaks for the electric French. Liam Farrell, 50 tackles and 123 metres, and Sam Powell, 56 tackles, 12 of which were marker tackles. For Warrington, Tom Lynham with a try, 162 metres, which I think about 40 or 50 of were him jumping off the mark, and 4 successful offloads as well in a strong performance for the wingman. Darryl Clark, 156 metres, Joe Philbin, 6 tackle busts and 159 metres, and Jake Mamo, 129 metres for the stepdad. So we had a few fan results in on this one, so do you want to take us through the first of them?
Yeah, Paul O'Brien, POB 1976, says, Wigan just too good for Warrington. Wigan will be disappointed with conceding late on after a great defensive effort. Thought the officials had a good game.
Well, at MikeDodd22, one of the more creative fan reviews of the season. This one, I'll tip my cap to Mike on that. He says, "I gave my match review to Dec Patton to deliver. He seemed to do everything right to submit it, but Ben Fayler decided that he'd seen something wrong and sent it to the game review submission referee as an incorrect submission. Despite everything looking fine, the decision came back as no submission. So apologies, Mark." Very witty, Mike. They were no tries. Tom Eckley said, "I would like to oppose the claim that we're a one-man team and say we're actually a three-man team. Clark and Ratch have been brilliant all season, but it turns out you actually need competent halfbacks to have a functioning attack."
Who knew? Jen Kay said, "Expected a much tighter game than this, so I was very happy with Wigan's dominance. Still some clueless moments in attack, but couldn't fault the defence. Marshall stood out for me because of his work rate, and the new guy French was exciting to watch. Unfortunately, saw some trouble on the way out as we walked towards the DW gym. Never seen fighting after a game before, and I don't want to see it again either." Bloody right.
I didn't see any, so I can't comment on any specifics, but that's sad to hear, and I hope that it is cut out very quickly. Paul Chamberlain finally says, "What a dilemma for Mark. Do you want to reach a grand final only to lose to your biggest rival? Wire are proving to be the Anthony Joshua of Super League. They look the part, but have the stamina of a fat hooker. At least their fans..."
Do you mean Kieran Cunningham? Because he had quite good stamina.
Piggy Riddell.
Yeah.
On the other end of that scale. At least their fans won't need to be worrying about budgeting for any winners' jerseys again this season, and they can just watch last year's season review DVD. There's no dilemma for me. Look, losing at Old Trafford is better than losing on the way to Old Trafford, but winning at Old Trafford is even sweeter. And if you get to Old Trafford, you've got a chance, haven't you? So, there's no dilemma to me. If we lose to St Helens at Old Trafford, then we've lost to the best team on the biggest stage. I'd take that over losing to them 2 weeks before at their own stadium in front of probably a reduced crowd, because no one likes to pay for tickets because we're Rugby League fans. Apparently that's not an obligation we should carry. A couple of things to talk about in this game, I suppose, that were flagged up there, Tim. The Dec Patton no tries. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on both of these. The first one, he clearly on the replay lost control of the ball short of the line, so credit to Liam Farrell for a very good piece of defence. And criticism to Deck Patton for not quite concentrating and finishing the playoff. The second one,